What's up YouTube, and welcome to another BMW E24 project video. Today we're going to be working on my 1984 BMW 635 CSi Euro spec, which I've shown many times on this channel, and we're going to be doing a job that I've done parts of a long time ago. I've owned this car for quite a while. I think I've had it for 17 years now. And one thing that happens a lot whenever the 6 Series gets age on it is these hood pads. They get pretty disintegrated and just oily and gross over time from all the engine liquids and heat and all that kind of stuff cycling on and off. So once I got this car, I don't think I ever changed the center pad because it looks worse than the side pads. I think it's original to the car, or at least older than my ownership. But I did replace the 2 side corner pads. They're all 3 separate pieces. And even they're looking a little tired now. So I have done the job of ordering new stuff from BMW. They still make these, which is great because some of the parts for this car that are unique to the 6 Series are getting really tough to find these days. So I will share the part numbers for you. Again, you're going to need 2 side pads as well as the large center pad. They're going to come in a really big box too, just due to the awkward shape of these things. So make sure that you order all 3 because the part numbers are separate for the directional side pads. So the first one I'm going to show you here is the left driver's side one. You can pause on the part number there, or I'll just read it to you briefly. 51481843779. So you'll need that one for the left side. For the right hand side, you're going to need 51481843780. So you just notice the in digits are different for the directional pad. And then you need the monster, which is the center pad. This one is 51481843781. A set of these is going to cost you around 300 bucks shipped. At least was my experience. Not cheap when you consider it's just, you know, piece of foam, but I guess I am thankful that they still make this because, like I said, there's a lot of parts of this car that are now no longer available. So I figured it now is the time. Go ahead and replace it before this part gets discontinued, and at least I have a fresh set to last me for hopefully another 10 or 15 years. The other thing to mention about the pads themselves is they do come with a self-sticking rear adhesive. You just peel the backing off on it. Depending on how long these have sat on the shelf, it actually should be good enough to adhere to the hood without having to buy any extra glue or add anything to it. I've heard mixed results. You know, sometimes if these things are a little bit old, the glue starts to go bad and you might need a little extra adhesive. So we'll take a look, but in my experience, this is enough to hold them on, and I know I didn't use any extra adhesive when I did the side pads several years ago. A couple other things you're going to want for this job. So you are going to be working on your clamshell type hood, and that means that all this stuff is going to come off in a million pieces. It's going to flake. It's going to be nasty. I promise you. I've done it before. It's gross. So you're going to want a tarp to put over your engine or some other type of covering, because otherwise you're going to be picking this crud out of your engine for the next 10 years. So I will be tarping the engine over here just to put a nice cover on it. Probably when I'm done, I'm just going to throw the tarp away because I don't even think it'll be worth cleaning after all that. Just to help with the job, I did grab a plastic razor tip. These are handy with scraping but not scratching metal surfaces, just in case there's any of that is difficult to get off. One thing I want to stress with this job, because I've done it before, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you have some little bits of adhesive or whatever from the original pads, don't stress over it. The new pads will stick just fine over that. So don't feel like you need a 100% clean surface, at least in my experience, to do this job. So with that said, I'm going to pause here in just a second and get my tarp in place and really start the nastiness of picking away at all 3 of these pads. I don't think the outside ones will be that bad, but I can already tell just this one with the deterioration on it. Like once you start pushing on it, see, look at that. Just barely touched it and just it's flaking away in like a million pieces. So that's going to be the fun part. I already know that one's going to be nasty, but I'll probably put some gloves on and dig into that and then give you an update as we're underway before I stick on the new ones. All right, so about 20 minutes in, here's where we stand. The old pads came off kind of whole. I would say they fell in about 3 or 4 pieces each. But what you see is you do end up with a lot of the adhesive just left from the initial pull down. You can kind of rub on it a little bit, get some of the other clumps off, but this glue is very, very stuck on. So I know there's going to be some of you that are going to just completely like try to get a solvent out and wipe all that glue off. I'm telling you, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get this as clean as I possibly can. But I'm pretty confident those new pads are going to stick just fine to most of this crud that's still left, because I've done it before and it didn't have any issues. I do want to show you the benefit of the tarp though. I mean, after I pulled all the big pieces out, here's just all the crumbs that end up just everywhere, and you don't want this stuff in your engine bay. So definitely stress the importance of the tarp. I'm gonna work on it a little bit more. Like I said, I see some bigger chunks now just from a visual that I want to get off, but I don't think I'm gonna go too much more on the cleaning piece, just because otherwise I'm gonna lose my mind. You'd be working on this for days. So I'll have an update once I start putting pads on, but this is kind of the start of what you're gonna see once you start pulling off the old ones. I will say what was interesting is the glue is definitely stronger on the two corners, because those are the pieces I've replaced before. I did confirm that I did not ever do the center one. What was interesting on the center one is it seems like it could be original, but then there's like this one little section here that has a little bit darker chunk of glue, so maybe somebody replaced it just a longer time ago. Either way, these things don't last a lifetime, so you're going to be doing this job at some point if you haven't already. But just wanted to give an update where I'm at in progress. Like I said, about 20 minutes in of just slowly peeling the old pads off, rubbing some of the stuff off with the glove, and then, you know, again, we'll have a little bit more cleanup here once we go through the next steps. All right, just giving an update. I did just a little bit more cleanup on the existing pad residue, but as you can see, definitely not perfect. I'm not going for that. It's not necessary. So I have already attached the first of the new pads. Good adhesive on these. I think these are relatively fresh. I don't think these have like been sitting in a warehouse for the last 15 years or anything like that. So went ahead and stuck it on. Like I said, no cleaner than these parts are right now, and it is adhering great. Just did a nice, you know, soft push down on all the corners and things like that, just making sure it's getting a good grip. But I feel good about it. Honestly, this gave me the courage to not go any further on the cleanup, because you could lose your mind trying to get this spotless. The other thing I noticed when I get to the center pad that could be interesting is the last one, really, it was not even touching on this part and then the other side, just due to the curve in the hood right there. So I'm going to try to push that part down a little bit extra hard just to make sure that it gets some purchase on the actual hood, since I don't even think the last one did. But feeling pretty good, honestly. I think that we're in a good place. I'm going to go ahead and stick the other left side one on, and then we'll worry about the big dog in the middle. That's the one I want to get right, because that one's the one that costs so much, of course. But yeah, I think things are going well, and I'll give you an update once we get them all in place. Again, just giving you some idea of some of the shrapnel. This is just all the crumbs that fall all over the place as you're doing the job. So the tarp is like the MVP of this job. You have to have that. But yes, just giving an update, and once I get them all on, I'll come back with you. All right, and here we have the finished product. As I said, I did not go too much further on the old glue removal. The new pads adhere just fine without having to do any extra legwork other than just getting the big balls of crud off. One thing I would stress, well, let me just talk about the center one. It is nerve-wracking to do this alone, because you've got to balance peeling it back on both sides as you stick it to the center of the hood. So if you can get a partner, it'll definitely help you out, but I was able to do it myself. And another thing I would emphasize, just to make sure that your new pad sticks well, is that when you go to push the pad in place, just to make sure the glue sticks, go ahead and make a line here on both sides where the crease in the hood is, and you can kind of see where that made those indents on mine. The last one didn't seem like it really had those, but then, like I said, I had those areas where I don't even think the old pad stuck to the hood, and in my mind, you would want it to stick on all pieces. So that was just my little personal touch. I don't know if that's factory or not, but I think it looks better that way, just with the little cutout, and it actually kind of matches the bump in the hood on the top side as well, so I thought that's kind of neat. But overall, yeah, it's all good to go. This was, I don't know, a little over an hour project, I guess. Some of it just making sure I was sweating the details, making sure the pads were going to go on okay, but went well. I'm going to go ahead and take off the order stickers and clean up my tarp and toss it in the trash, because you can see all the junk on it. But other than that, job finished, and I highly recommend it. I think gives the nice, you know, uplift to your hood whenever you open it up, especially if you're going to show it off to anybody else. Takes some years off the car with all the oil and grit that got on the old one. So nice little touch there. Definitely recommend it, and like I said, probably want to get it before the parts disappear forever. So thank you very much for watching. Please take a moment, like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great day or night. wherever you are.